Hi, this is Nicholas Bell with IONCINEMA, here to review The Harder They Fall, the directorial debut of Jeymes Samuel, which opened at the BFI London Film Festival. Netflix released it theatrically October 22nd before it is going to be available streaming November 3rd. It's the directorial debut of Jeymes Samuel, aka The Bullets, English musician and producer. Zazie has produced this directorial debut, which has a stellar cast. It's a revisionist, heavily stylized Western. As we're told in the beginning, it's a fictional narrative, but these characters, these people were real, and it's collecting kind of a group of obscure black figures from the Old West, many of whose histories have been long erased, and kind of reconnoitering them in an interesting way. That said, the narrative, and is based on a mid-length 2013 film called They Die by Dawn, Samuel also directed. Here he has Boaz, Yakin, the director of Fresh and Remember the Titans, and recently Aviva, working as a screenwriter alongside him. It's revisionist and it's stylized, but it's not really revisionist or stylized enough, which makes it feel sometimes like a blaxploitation film, but doesn't quite have the energy of something like Thomasine and Bushrod from 1974 with Vanetta McGee, kind of a Black Bonnie and Clyde. Instead, this is trying to revel in the glory of bringing all these people together, kind of like modern day superheroes, if you will. It is kind of the vibe of the film. And because of that, we get lost in the character. In other words, there really isn't a lot of characterization because it's purely spectacle. That said, there are a lot of people in here having fun that are a joy to watch. But really, it's about Nat Love, played by Jonathan Majors, versus Rufus Buck, played by Idris Elba, and each of them have rival gangs. And it opens with Nat Love's parents being murdered right in front of him as a 10-year-old, which, if we're looking at the historical timeline, the bulk of the film would be taking place in the 1870s or 1880s, and has spent his youth avenging the death of his parents by killing these gang members one by one, with the last one being Rufus Buck, left alive, who's serving time in Yuma, Arizona. And as the narrative kicks off, Idris Elba's Rufus Buck is rescued by his gang of bank robbers, played by Regina King as Treacherous Trudy and LaKeith Stanfield as Cherokee Bill. And of course that sets into motion Nat Love coming to Redwood, which is a black city that Buck has assembled and has to go wrestle out of what is kind of one of the film's more memorable scenes, a wayward character that he placed there, played by Deon Cole. And then Deon Cole, Nat Love, and a marshal played by Delroy Lindo, who kind of walks away with some of the film's best dialogue, each have a common enemy in Idris Elba and getting together, and the rest, of course, is history, if you will. So a lot like High Noon, as in there's going to be a showdown. Everything about this feels very predictable, including the tangents involving Zazie Beetz as his Nat Love's love interest, stagecoach Mary. There are questionable choices made that don't kind of make sense, as in some of these characters are suffering from some plot holes or some device plot holes, if you will. It was shot by Mihai Malamer Jr., the Romanian cinematographer, who of course lends P.T. Anderson the master. So it looks great. Again, I think it could have leaned more into the stylization, since we're kind of foregoing characterization, reminiscent of everything from Gang of Roses starring Lil Kim to Terror in a Texas Town, a Sterling Hayden kind of B-Western from the late 50s. Again, with the very same plot devices that we've seen. There's really nothing surprising here except the novelty of having all of these stellar black actors in one place, some of whom get a little bit more to do than others. Again, I think Regina King and Delroy Lindo walk away with some of the film's best moments, but Zazie Beetz is a lot of fun. I know there's some colorism, charges lobbed at the film because she's much lighter than the real Stagecoach Mary. But all of those issues aside, it's an interesting exercise that just feels like it has some pacing issues at 2 hours and 10 minutes. Other than that, an excellent soundtrack. Opens with the Jay-Z song, very Tarantino-esque in that anachronism, the anachronistic use of music. Overall, I would give The Harder They Fall 2.5 out of 5 stars. Thank you.
Hey, this is Eric from IONCINEMA.com. If you want to support us, subscribe below. For more reviews, interviews, film festival coverage from Sundance, Cannes, Toronto, you want to check out these guys on this side.